Hey girl. So the other day, my wife asks me when we're watching TV, who is your favorite superhero? And I figured that's a question I should answer here as well, because it's got my always standard answer and then my real answer. Standard answer, the DC universe is my favorite superhero. I love the characters, I love the villains, I love the drama that they run into, I love the historical significance, the intersection between the humanities of the human American experience and the comic book experience at the same time. I love those things. But then invariably everybody goes, well, no, that's idiot. You got to pick your favorite, man. What's your favorite? You're going on a desert island, you can only have one. What is it? And then the real answer is Krypto, the super dog. I know that sounds ridiculous, but bear with me. Here's something you never hear people say. I love Spider-Man because he's my dad. I love Wolverine because he reminds me of my brother. Nobody says those things. But Krypto is every dog I've ever had. He's my dog Stasha, my big black lab from when I was a little kid. That when there used to be thunderstorms, I would go out into the living room and put my head on her belly. There's my Jack Russell Terrier, Bug, who was a brutal tyrant who controlled every aspect of my and my wife's life. She stole food right out of our mouths and then would flip onto her back and show us that sweet little pink belly right after, and we'd forgive her instantaneously. He's also my current dog, Mabel, a 80-pound ball of terror. She is terrified of everything she experiences for the first time, but she's the sweetest girl in the world. She's actually the one at the beginning of all these videos. You see that photo? That's Mabel. Well, Krypto the super dog is all of my pets. All of them. Wrapped into one. And every time he appears in the comics, it fills a part of my heart because there's that instantaneous connection. That's my dog. There's even a Superman issue that we'll talk about later on. That moment actually takes place. Superman introduces Krypto to Metropolis and says, he's your dog. This is your dog. And so I'd like to take everyone today on a little tour of my Krypto collection and talk a little bit more about dogs, show you what he means to me, hopefully. And, you know, I want to see more love for comic book characters who aren't necessarily these exact one-to-one reflections of what we wish we could be, and instead a celebration of characters who just remind us of who we already are. Okay, so I'm going to keep Krypto on the screen here while we go through some of these really awesome covers, but just understand every now and then if I gush, I can't help it. I love this guy so much, and these are just my natural reactions looking at these covers and some of the stories that go along with them. So, number one, or should I say number two, is... This is the second appearance of Krypto the Superdog. In case I didn't make it clear, that's the first appearance of Krypto the Superdog, March 1955. It is a 3.0 cover. I spent $1,500 on it about 2 years ago. That book has skyrocketed in value, and I honestly don't care. Every time I come up with a new price for this book, my wife goes, yeah, but if you don't sell it, it's worthless. That's kind of her response to the value of some of these books that I have. And it couldn't be more true and further from the truth. The truth of it is, it's true. It has no value because it will never leave my possession. This is the book that'll get buried with me, King Tut style. However, it does have value, obviously. It just, we're never going to find out because I'm never going to sell it. This book over here, this is the second appearance of Krypto the Superdog, and as you can tell, Superboy by some kid. It looks like he was colored pink at one point. Some kid like tried to color in his skin or something like that, or they drew on him and somebody tried to erase it to save the book. But that is also a scarce issue, an expensive issue. However, I will show the receipt for this one. I paid $2 for this book on Mercari. You're going to hear Mercari a lot. In the 2020s, 2021, I spent a lot of time in Mercari. I would snap up DC keys like crazy because that's my universe. That's what I read. That he's all rubbed out doesn't bother me at all. This is all that matters. If it was reversed and Superboy was in full view and Krypto wasn't, I would have never cared about this book. I would have waited to buy a $300, $400 copy later on. But just like that, he's in full view. I love it. And this is one of my favorite images of Krypto too. Like, look at that goofy face. What a goofy boy. On the back of this, because I ran out of Silver Age bags at one point in time. It's not a key, but it is just a fantastic Krypto cover. This is a job for Superboy, and this is a job for Super Dawg. And then he's saving the kid, and he's saving a basket full of puppies. I'm not crying. You're crying. This doesn't seem like a Krypto the Super Dawg key. It absolutely doesn't. Here, let me get a little bit more light on it. This is the first time that Superman meets Krypto. Before this comic, I think I just bumped my camera. I'm the worst. Before this comic, it was always Adventures of Superboy with Krypto. You'll even see it in the next issue. A lot of it was that. But this particular issue, this is when the man meets the dog, and I love it. Next, this is the first appearance of Bizarro Krypto the Super Dawg. I love the Bizarro characters. They were really big in this era. There was a lot of... I actually was just watching Bronzeville Comics. How he was talking about there was a lot of Bizarro books, and that's kind of what inspired me to talk about this video. I have a Bizarro cover, and here it is. The crystallized look I always really liked, and one day when I have all my Bizarro books, I will absolutely line them up for sure. This is the first appearance of the Legion of Super Pets. So this is when the animals that made up the DC superhero characters got their own book. And of course, Krypto, being the super related character, is the leader, voiced by Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, which just came out last year. You'd think, being a Krypto psycho like I am, I would have seen that movie by now. But like, I don't know. It's the same thing with the Mario movie, and this is a side commentary. This has nothing to do with our good boy over here, but those movies come out, and I'm like, I feel like they're not meant for me. I'm a grown up. I'm 37 years old. I'm about to be 38 in July. They're not meant for me. So like, what? Unless I go into them and surrender my brain and say I am not allowed to critique this whatsoever. I just have to be a full blown fan on this. Then there's no room for me to enjoy myself. So what's the point? So I sit back, I enjoy, and I love that the new generation gets to love it, but it's just, I sit those things out. Next, I love this cover. This is currently the cover between my Adventure Comics 210 and my Action 252, my first appearance of Supergirl. We'll talk about that in a future video, but I don't display more than 3 comics at a time. I definitely will go into why, but so it goes Krypto on the left, this one here, and then you can go back to my first video and see my Action 252 unboxing, and then you have an idea of what my shelf currently looks like. This is a fantastic Alex Ross cover. I love this book. It's not often... I know this is going to seem strange, but it's not often that you get the hero pose of Superman where the cape is also going in the direction of his stare. That's unusual to me. Usually it's the wind will be blowing this way, and he'll be looking up this way. So it fills more of the image with the character. But in this, it's a little bit more reverse than I'm used to seeing. This is the moment where Superman reveals the dog to Metropolis and says, "Hey, everybody, this is your dog too." Just another fantastic Superman cover. This is Superman 287. This is a job for Super Dawg, and I love it. Like he stopped. You can see the ripples in the carpet. Like there's so much motion in this picture, and then just like It's not often you get to see his sweet baby boy puppy belly, and there it is. It's not as pink as I would like to see it, but please don't judge me. I promise I'm an adult with a job. This begins a lot of Supergirl and Krypto covers. Krypto and Supergirl develop this fantastic relationship, and just this action scene of him biting the tentacles and her punching the Men in Black alien with the lasers flying around and the purple and blue, like almost Silver Surfer-y type of, dotted space. I dig it quite a bit. Here's a whole family action shot of just everybody. Amanda Conner does Krypto so much better than so many artists do. She's also had a lot of experience doing Krypto. She does a fantastic cover with Catwoman. Oh, I can't remember. It's one of the Convergence covers. I'll find it and I'll put it up here. I have it in my collection, but it's in my New 52 run, which again, I sound silly saying it so much, but that's another video to come. And I also am just in love with this 1990s style laser background. This is a Legion of Superheroes crossover with Adventure Comics. They were really big with Adventure Comics, and it just has all of the super pets. We've got Streaky down here, Krypto, Comet, and Beppo, just kind of wrecking house. And then with this almost copper tone reference of his underwear getting ripped by the dog, I can't get enough of this. Let's go back to Amanda Conner. Charming image at first, right? You're just like, oh, it's Supergirl and Krypto. What a cute little cover. It actually appears, and the way that they did it was that she has thrown the DC logo, and then that's the ball that he's chasing. Once I saw that, because it wasn't readily apparent to me. I was too captivated with him, and his little toe beans making an appearance in this one. I didn't notice it right at first, but once I did, I love that cover. We have an Adam Hughes cover. We have the no symbol on the Streaky. Supergirl looking beautiful as Adam Hughes does. Kind of this like hands up, King Kong can't touch me kind of pose that I love. Superman looks a little too serious for my taste in this cover, but so many artists just make him look serious, and I hate that. Superman smiling is my Superman. But just this big goofy boy, I love it. And the pink ears, if you can't see it, here, I bumped the camera again because I'm an idiot. But he did have a little tiny bit of pink in his ears back then and on his snoot. The pink isn't present in the snoot, but anytime the pink ears show up, I really appreciate it. Like you see it in the last one, right? Is the pink ears. No pink ears. That little detail, though, I really like it, and I love it when his tongue is hanging out of his face like that. Superman, number 712. This is actually a lesser-known Art Germ cover. This is an early Art Germ cover, and again, we've got the big goofy tongue hanging out. He's kind of in this like hunched, almost taking him out for a poop kind of picture, and the birds in the foreground. I almost wish the birds weren't there. But it does add to the story of the image. Like they were out and about running around having a good old time, and they started to chase the birds. This is another smaller image, a lot smaller than I would like of Krypto, but I love how young he looks, Superboy himself, and I also love how he's in this running position, but clearly he's flying. So it gives the impression that, like, when you hold a dog over the water and it kind of just like kicks its legs real slow, I almost wonder, like, is that how he flies? We just don't see it represented in the books, but it's a fun thought every time I look at that picture. Another Alex Ross image of Krypto the Superdog, and a lot of the new Kryptonians. He's a very small part of the image, and one of the challenges that I find with loving Alex Ross, and I don't get it twisted, I love Alex Ross, but his heroes are so well represented, they're so colorful that it makes it a lot of times where the heroes kind of become almost flat. They're all so colorful they become flat. where like every color in this image is competing for my attention. The red in his cape matches the red in Superman's cape. That's clearly Superman's arm coming over. Matches the red in this cape. The yellow in her chute is popping and grabbing my attention. So is the yellow of his cape. So is this bright blue sky. That's just kind of the difficulty I have with Alex Ross's art sometimes. Okay, first off, clearly the man's a genius. He's absolutely a living treasure in terms of what we have for art, and he's alive, but he is not nearly as appreciated as he should. If the man's made $10 million, it should be triple that. He's amazing. It's just that I should be able to critique the things that I love and not sound like I hate something. This is another one. This is going to be the next one that gets swapped out for the Krypto earlier when I said I have my 3 comics set up. Not only is the tongue hanging out, and it's a different red than the capes, and that you get the pink ears on this one, but look at that goof face. Not hers. Look at that goof. He's looking right at her while she's looking at us, and it's just, that's the order of operations when you love dogs. People look at other people, but dogs look at their owners. They are just in love with us, and this image... I said there were way too many birds in that last Superboy cover, but this one doesn't bother me. There's this blur effect as if it's further in the foreground. There's way more. They all have some of them do, some of them don't have that like extra blur effect, giving the illusion of motion. It's a photograph snapped of Supergirl where she looked at us and she smiled, and we just caught Krypto being the goofiest little boy. Quick little bonus here. This is my little tin of bookmarks. I am a huge reader. I love reading, not just comics, but novels in general, and everything, poetry, plays, nonsense, anything I can read. Comics actually came from my desire to want to continue to read anything I could get my hands on, and just I fell in love with the characters and I never left. So this is a selection of, that got bent, who cares? This is a selection of random bookmarks I constantly cycle through. I'm always just grabbing something in here, whatever mood strikes me. Sometimes there's, collectible cards from Reboot. Yeah, there you go. More Alex Ross, another Kingdom Come card. I got this. This one came from Tokyo Tower. See, a sleeve of Mabel. This came from Tokyo Tower in the One Piece Museum. And nestled in here, I pulled it out for you guys, is an original piece of art I got off of Whatnot. One of those artists that was painting original trading cards and signing them. And I think it was like $30, and you can watch her sketch it live. And it was just lovely. Just the pink tongue, the goofy face. And she agreed that he needs to look goofy. This is the page from that Alex Ross cover I was telling you about, where we don't need to see it. It's too upsetting, but Superman and this villain have this fight, and Krypto is helping out quite a bit, and the fight's over. The dude's been defeated, and everyone's clapping Superman, and the dog is... Krypto's a little in pain, but he's there, and he's being a good boy. And this is where Superman says, "Can you hear me, Metropolis? Can you hear me? You want to cheer a hero? This is a hero." That face just makes me laugh so hard every time. He's my dog, and you know what? Now he's your dog too. And just, you see the crowd kind of nonplussed, and then celebrate, realizing they've got their own Krypto the super dog. And then we get this fantastic page. Good boy. Happy. This is real talk, the realest talk. If I owned one single piece of comic book art, that went on my wall, that I would cherish until I die, this good boy, and then his thought, happy. This is, this is what I mean. I'm going to come back to the other camera to wrap up. I want to finish this thought. Okay, so finishing that thought from my other camera angle, that moment I had with that page at the end of that comic, that is the connection that I have with Krypto. That's the connection I have with that dog, that character. When I look at Krypto, that is my dog. That is every dog I've ever owned. that all rolled into one and will ever own for the rest of my life. That character is my connection to animals. Even when it's sad, it still pulls on those very real emotions that I have towards my dogs. And I don't know, when people say I love the X-Men, and then half of their channel is tirades about how woke the X-Men have gotten and how much they hate what they're doing to them. There's no room for any of those types of character changes for Krypto. He's a dog. He's a good boy. Sometimes he dies in stories and it's heartbreaking. Sometimes he's the hero. Sometimes he's just a big stupid goofball. But there's none of that. Like, nothing in the universe can change my opinion of how I feel about dogs. And so when they say they love X-Men, there's a condition to it. They could say, like, well, I love the Claremont run of X-Men. Well, I love the Lee Kirby era of X-Men. Those are my X-Men. The animated series, though, those are my X-Men. No. Krypto is Krypto. He's always Krypto in my eyes, and I love him regardless. I can't not love him. He embodies this marriage of this hobby that I love and these animals that I love, and it's just like, I mean, maybe you heard it when I was talking about those covers. Like, he as an existing fictitious creation brings genuine light into my life. And I know that sounds so corny, but like, that's my dog.